It's important to remember that behind the magic of Asgard are lots and lots of hardworking people, and sometimes those hardworking people goof up or act a little silly. It's with great pleasure that we present some of the most hilarious Thor bloopers this side of the Bifrost.
The whole thing's a mess, Taika.
The romantic payoff between leads is one of the most anticipated parts of any film franchise. Actors and directors go to great lengths to shoot and perform the most gratifying scene possible. Thor and Jane keep coming up against all kinds of obstacles to their love, so whenever they're able to express their affection for each other, it's a brief respite in the midst of world-altering chaos. But it's got to be awkward to kiss your coworkers sometimes, right? Especially when you've got your trademark long blonde Thor locks blowing into her mouth. Kinda makes you wonder if that's part of the reason for Thor keeping a shortcut later on in the timeline of the MCU.
Sorry, your mouth full of hair? Come on.
This funny little snippet from the Dark World's gag reel adds some levity to a somewhat fraught and difficult relationship, and it's nice to see that even in the midst of something so intense, Chris Hemsworth and Natalie Portman can appreciate a little silliness. It seems Edna Mode from The Incredibles was right when she insisted that superheroes shouldn't wear capes.
Meta Man, Express Elevator, Diner Guy, Snag on Takeoff, Splashdown, sucked into a vortex. No capes!
But Thor is known for his, so he would be remiss to go without. Still, it seems to have caused a great deal of trouble for Hemsworth, who is shown in several bloopers batting the great swath of crimson fabric out of his face. You would think that a weather god who frequently summons down great winds might consider ditching the cape and the flowing hair, but he has an image to uphold. The problem that any fashion-forward hero faces is knowing that looking really cool often comes at the expense of being comfortable, but it wouldn't do to be a god who wears a windbreaker and tennis shoes. No one would take him seriously. This very relatable problem humanizes one of the most powerful beings in the universe. In Norse mythology, the great god Odin has two raven companions, Hugin and Munin. These elegant and intelligent birds serve as Odin's all-seeing eyes, bringing him the news from Midgard or Earth. Hugin and Munin don't have a huge role in the MCU, but it's a nice little nod to Thor's Norse origins to include them in a scene where Thor has a heart-to-heart with his father, Odin. Of course, the ravens on set are just normal birds. Even if they are more intelligent than your average city pigeon, trained animals aren't always easy to work with, and ravens in particular are known to be pretty independent-minded creatures. Instead of coming off as mystical and mysterious, these bloopers reveal the birds to be stubborn and a little hard to work with. Typical avian divas. Luckily, they seem to have gotten the scene down eventually, further enveloping the viewer in the magic of Asgard. But one has to wonder if the real Hugin and Munin ever gave the All-Father a hard time in the old myths. Thor and his brother Loki have a really complicated relationship, which may have something to do with the fact that Loki is a trickster god who is never really able to stick to one side of a fight. In Thor, The Dark World, audiences are given a lot of screen time with the two brothers as they work together to thwart the Dark Elves. Like any sibling pair, the two squabble incessantly, even though it's obvious that they care about each other. And then this happens.
I'm not hitting it, I'm pressing it, I'm pressing it.
You're not pressing it.
Yes, I am.
So yeah.
Yep, that's Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston, Thor and Loki breaking into uncontrollable giggles. It certainly adds depth to the brotherly love between their characters, a brotherly love that we can't help but hope extends to the actors' off-screen friendship as well. In Thor Ragnarok, Thor and Loki are introduced to the sister they never knew they had, the terrifying and all-powerful Hela, goddess of death. She takes her job very seriously, sowing destruction and misery wherever she goes. It is a great blow then to see the equally stunning Cate Blanchett stumble backwards while unleashing some of that awesome power, breaking the illusion of Hela's deadly poise. It's humbling to realize that even Blanchett, one of the most talented and elegant women in Hollywood, also loses her balance in front of lots and lots of onlookers when she's trying so hard just to do her job. Watching her running around in a motion capture suit is also a bit disorienting when we recall how grandiose Hela's appearance is, but a death goddess has to do what a death goddess has to do. It's important not to take yourself and your job too seriously, and it seems that no group knows this better than the cast and crew of Thor Ragnarok. Starting with the eminently witty Jeff Goldblum, gag reel viewers are graced with several shots of the actors performing fun little dances, presumably breaking up some of the hurry-up-and-wait monotony of a typical day on a movie set. The whole thing really makes you want to join in on the fun of filmmaking and makes you anticipate watching these goofy actors in subsequent installments within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Well, half of them, at least. Sorry, we couldn't resist. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite stuff are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.